That sound means it's time for your weekly movie review. Doing it a bit early today on this Friday, but why not?
That's right. Yeah.
Why not?
Got to give it to the people. They need to know. We're talking Pixels first. Adam Sandler is back on the big screen. They're still giving this guy roles. Because they make money, his movies. Now, aliens misinterpret classic arcade video game footage as a declaration of war, and they try to take over the planet. So Adam Sandler, who's a former arcade game champion, has to team up with his old buddies and try to save the world. Have a look.
Pac-Man's faster than I remember.
Pac-Man's always been faster than the Ghost. We're gonna have to outmaneuver it.
We got him! He's got nowhere to go! Oh, God, no!
We've never faced a threat like this.
There you have it.
Some special effects, a little bit of that in this, okay?
Yeah, no, the visual effects are impressive in this film for sure. It's there's a lot to look at. Now, Adam Sandler, he's got his buddies in this one: Kevin James, Josh Gad there, Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones, and Michelle Monaghan providing some great female comic relief. I have to say, it's extremely silly, but it wears it proudly on its sleeve. It just basically has no reservations about the story and how ridiculous and absurd it is. But I appreciate the fact that they're well aware of that. And you know what? To see guys like Peter Dinklage, who's usually so dramatic in Game of Thrones, Michelle Monaghan, who was in season 1 of True Detective, to actually have her display some comic timing and do some comedy, it was very refreshing. In fact, the movie is much like the show Seinfeld, where the main guy, Adam Sandler, is probably the weakest link of any of them. They're all sort of helping support him in the film.
Do you not find also with Adam Sandler, though, when it comes to his characters, they're all kind of the exact same thing? He kind of always is just himself in everything he does.
Absolutely. At the same time, though, this movie's getting ripped, I think, unfairly in many circles online. People just love to dump on his films. But I will say the content here is family friendly. All the kids enjoyed it. There weren't any sort of gross out gags or anything that was inappropriate. So you can take the entire family to this movie. It is a lot of fun. And as I say, it looks great. The 3D was actually also kind of effective. And when there's scenes like this where they're taking on Donkey Kong and swinging hammers at the barrels and things like that, I couldn't help but enjoy it. And I had a big grin on my face. It was utterly ridiculous, of course. Not every joke worked, and Sandler wasn't the best part about it, but overall, I can kind of recommend this film.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to it here. The verdict for Pixels.
It was an entertaining summer romp. I'm going with 3 out of 5. There you go.
That's not bad for an Adam Sandler flick.
Credibility out the window.
That's okay. It's like you're middle of the road there. So the 3-hammer one is a pretty safe bet. You know what I'm saying there?
Totally.
Okay, switching gears. Southpaw, what's this one all about?
All right, much of the similar story when it comes to verdict for this one, but I'll explain why. Jake Gyllenhaal plays a boxing champion. Tragedy strikes his family, and he basically has to go from the bottom up once again, has to retain his legacy, keep his family together. This is from director Antoine Fuqua. It also stars Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, Rachel McAdams, and Forrest Whitaker. Now, we've seen a lot of these cliches in many movies before, especially when it comes to the boxing formula, so that got a little bit tiresome. It was very grim and joyless, but Jake Gyllenhaal, this guy who I was never a huge fan of, he has proven me wrong with so many movies like Prisoners, Enemy, Nightcrawler, and this one is no exception. He trained for months. He got to the point where he was, getting sick while he was doing these boxing training sessions and rehearsing and things like that. He put on a bunch of weight, which all got converted to muscle mass. So his commitment to this role basically makes it passable, even though it does get sort of it sort of wallows in this sea of sort of tropes that we've seen before in other boxing movies. So nothing new to add to the genre here, but Gyllenhaal's magnetism and because in these boxing movies they always end with like a final bout, right?
Yeah.
By the end, when it comes to that, you are just riveted and you just want to see him, frankly, just pummel the guy.
You're on his side.
You're really into it. Yeah.
You're on Team Jake.
Definitely, yeah. Okay. But the movie does have its flaws. I'm going to have to go with 3 out of 5.
Not bad.
Yeah, 3 out of 5 split this week.
2 3s.
There you go.
Pretty good for a Friday,
Take your pick.